Donald Trump may be the only person in history that has gotten more Jewish votes and more Muslim votes in the exact same election.
Exact same time.
Our so-called Hitler, anti-Semitic, racist piece of garbage, bringing people together like nobody ever has. Just think about that, Left, for 3 seconds, and then shut your holes for the next 10 years.
Let me set the stage here. This was a very resounding rejection of the Democrat Party and the ideals. Right, the margins not only were significant in these swing states, but we were even going through some of this math. You may not know this. New York is just as much of a swing state as Florida and as Texas, because the margin by which Kamala won New York was not any more than Donald Trump won Florida or Texas. So when people say these are deep red, well, hold on a second. You're talking about within 15 points in places like New York, within about 5 points in Virginia, only a single-digit points in Minnesota, right? Then you would have to say, okay, these are swing states, because you're seeing
Jersey.
Across Jersey, with single digits, across the board, everywhere. So spoiler alert, whether it's young voters, whether it's female voters, whether it's Latino voters, whether it's black voters. Now, this doesn't mean that Donald Trump has won these demographics, but he has made big gains with every single one. One exception, college-educated white women. I have that right, Elaine the Brain?
Actually, every single white group he lost support against.
Oh, that's right.
Lost support with. Mostly amongst college-educated white
women. What does that tell you about what they're being taught?
Yeah. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Well, they're losing their support from on behalf of the blacks who are gaining. So he's gaining support.
Correct.
So the white people they're doing it as voluntary, as a tribute.
As tribute
to the Hispanic.
It's reparations.
We don't want
vote reparations.
We don't want our white supremacy authoritarian, because
Absolutely.
That's not good.
Well, you don't know. You all know better, so I'm going to help you out.
Pennsylvania. Donald Trump won by 1.9%. Okay, about 171,000 votes.
Amish.
Let's run through these numbers here, and Elaine the Brain and you and Bobby, the whole team, you did a lot of great work here. Some huge gains were made in urban areas in Pennsylvania. So let me give you some numbers. So Kamala, since 2020, she's down 1.5% as far as the votes in urban areas in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump is up 1.6%. That means the shift since 2020 toward Trump is 3.1%.
In urban areas.
In urban areas.
That's insane.
The fact that he gained at all, you would have thought, wouldn't you have thought, hey, Kamala Harris is going to do better than the really old white guy Biden in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In places like, no, she did worse. Yeah.
In terms of total votes, that was about 120,000 votes just in the urban areas that Trump gained. So if you look at the total that he won by, tons of that was in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
Because those are the real liberal hotspots.
Yep.
That is great news.
It really is. And then we're going to get to the demographics, and of course, because they do it geographically. We have that data, and then they separate it by demographic as far as race, as far as gender, but they don't give you the race and gender, for example, specifically in Philly. So we'll probably have that in the final picture.
This show, I got to be honest with you, I came in, I thought this would be a little dry, this show. I'm learning so much.
Good.
Seriously.
I am too. I learned from them. That night I was going back with them going, guys, give me what it is that you're seeing. They're going, well, they made the prediction. You guys made the prediction hours before. This was the first place to call Georgia, just to give you an idea. The first place, I believe on earth, certainly on air, to call Georgia. And we said it's about 3.8, I believe, at that point. It's going to narrow to somewhere around 2%, but that's where it's going to settle. When we called it, it ended up being, I want to say
2.2 or something.
Oh, so you guys are off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The model that they put together out there was as good as anything that you were seeing anywhere.
Yeah.
These agencies, I think we exposed something that we didn't know we were going to expose. An hour and 15 minutes later on Georgia,
no, you're
on
right.
North Carolina, calling it before, on Pennsylvania, when there's just no hope. Like, we called all these states and we're like, why wouldn't you want to tell people kind of as close to first as you can be, as long as you know the result is accurate, what you're saying is true based on the data? Why wouldn't you want to be first? That's what everybody wants to be.
Yeah,
because but you hit it. I think you mentioned it, Gerald, to keep them watching, right?
Yeah. Well, to keep them watching, and also I think they just manipulate how people feel when you don't call the race until the next day.
Yeah.
Like I woke up to CNN still at 266.
I know. I did too.
What?
They wouldn't give him Alaska.
No, they wouldn't give him Alaska. I was like, Alaska's like California.
It's
call it 30 seconds after it closes.
Yeah, let's go to Wayne County, right? That's Detroit. And it's not just Detroit, but Wayne County is a very urban county, right? That's kind of the leftist stronghold in Michigan. Donald Trump got 33.7% of the vote. Kamala got 62.7%. So Donald Trump is up 9 since 2020. When you look at that swing, a swing toward Donald Trump, 9%. Also, very notable. Very notable. Because everyone was talking about, and yes, the Jewish vote did migrate a little bit. It's a little bit tougher to get. But Donald Trump, defeated Kamala Harris in what perhaps could be, is a terrorist hotbed. Dearborn, 47-27.
Wow.
With a
What?
clip. Yeah, we have a clip. Yep,
Democratic
Dearborn.
leaders
Jill
did
Stein
not
had
listen
about
to
21.
Arab or Muslim voters, and he feels that helped President-elect Donald Trump win.
In Dearborn, Michigan, Donald Trump has won the majority of votes. This was entirely avoidable. This was entirely avoidable.
Yeah, if you tear up the Quran and make everybody hate themselves.
Hold on, think about that. Donald Trump may be the only person
That
in history that has gotten more Jewish votes and more Muslim votes in the exact same election.
Exact same time.
Our so-called Hitler, anti-Semitic, racist piece of garbage, bringing people together like nobody ever has. Just think about that, left, for 3 seconds, and then shut your holes for the next 10 years.
Let's go not just to the cities, but the demographics. This is one where a lot of people were saying he'll do better, but we didn't know that Donald Trump would do this much better.
No, the gains were. I couldn't believe it.
With the Hispanic vote, Donald Trump got 42, Kamala got 52. So that slide since 2020 toward Trump is 14 points, a 14-point gain. And you see the same breakdown, by the way, with Latino men. For some reason, I don't know why they give us the data as far as Hispanic, but then Latino men, Latino women.
I don't understand the politics.
Nobody, I've been trying to figure the difference out forever.
But this is how they categorize it. So Latino men, Trump won 55-43. That's a 19-point gain since 2020. 19 points. So just to be clear, with Latino men, he didn't just make up for the loss. He won Latino men.
by a lot.
By a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is from a lot of data.
There were a lot of white chicks a lot of racist white chicks came out on Twitter that were like, oh, it's the machismo of these Latino men. They're just as bad as whites. They're white supremacists. And
They're racist.
Yes,
They say.
they all- yes.
All these one race of people are racist because they're dumb and stupid.
Yeah. You disagree with me, you're racist, whatever color.
But even with Latino women, by the way, of course you expect him to lose.
Wait.
We were told that he would lose all of the female vote. Latino women, 38. Donald Trump lost 38-60 with Kamala. But again, that's an 8-point swing since 2020. So you're winning with Latino men, and you're making up for losses with Latino women. Sorry, it's too many terms. I'm never going to say Latinx. By the way, Democrats, that's why you lost.
Yeah.
Even Latinx don't like Latinx.
They don't
hate
ever
that.
say.
They hate that.
They hate.
They came out
it.
and said, will you stop with that?
Yeah. Starr County, Texas, 97% Hispanic. Donald Trump got 57.7% of the vote to Kamala's 41.8. That slide is 21 points to Donald Trump. This is the first time a Republican has won this area of Texas, Starr County, since 1892.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
flag
it's
was
the-
over Texas back then.
he won the entire Rio Grande Valley, every single Rio Grande Valley border.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
One.
And overall, he won Hispanics,
the border,
I believe,
right?
ages 44 to 55. Overall, period, including men and women.
It is, and it's about employment, like you said.
And that would be Mexicans, as we were talking
Yeah,
about.
in
He
Texas
won them
now.
outright.
Now, if you go to Miami-Dade County, right, this is 69% Hispanic. I would imagine far
Cubano.
more Cuban immigrants. A lot of, they don't necessarily, but I think they probably, a lot of Brazilian migrants there. A lot of them do not like to be referred to as Hispanic. I get it. Portuguese. It's not lost on me. My point is the census.
Waxings.
Okay, so Miami-Dade, 69% Hispanic. Donald Trump won 55.2 to 43.7. That's an 18.8 point
Holy
slide
Hillary. Wow.
from 2020, and Hillary won this county by 30 points.
My God.
By
Kamala sucks.
30 points.
Legacy media is dead, folks.
And overall, Donald Trump won Florida with Hispanics 58 to 40. Here's the other one that I'm, there was data. This was very murky before this, right? Because you'd see some polls come back that showed Gen Z being very, very liberal, and some coming back that would show them pretty conservative. But here's the one thing. Even the stats that would show them very liberal, far more conservative at this point in their lives than boomers, than even Gen X. So you always expect young people to be liberal by a huge margin.
Yeah.
You just need a bit of, and you can find clips of me at conferences, on Fox News, probably on CNN, wherever, in 2009, 2010, where they were always talking about the black vote because of Barack Obama. I said, look, okay, you can tell, and I get that, and you should be speaking to all people. The message of freedom, liberty, pursuit of happiness should resonate with all people. But maybe the messaging is pretty bad as far as how we're doing it because you put on John McCain and then you put on Mitt Romney. But I said, if you just mitigate your losses with people under the age of 30 or people under the age of 40, if you just close that gap where it's not a consistent loss of like 30 points, if you just narrow those losses to maybe a 20-point spread, you would never lose another election. Well, guess what we're seeing? Young voters moved toward Trump. 18 to 29-year-olds. Okay? 18 to 29-year-olds. The youngest voting demo available. We'll make this reference available for you so you can go through the data yourself. Telling you exactly what is up our sleeves. Donald Trump, 43% to Kamala, 54%. Only 11 points. That's a 7-point slide to Trump since 2020. That's a 7-point slide. That is huge. By the way, Donald Trump won. Young men, 18 to 29-year-old men, 49 to 47. That's an 8-point slide. Here's the other thing that surprised you. Expect him to do better with young men. If you were to guess, 18 to 29-year-old women, honestly, before I know you guys have the cheat sheet, I'd say like a quarter, right? Maybe 1 in 4 would vote for Donald Trump.
That would have been my maximum guess.
I think that would have been
absolutely.
a lot.
Would we all agree that anything
No,
over...
I was going to say 78%. But
No, these are some of the most rabid anti-Trump people that I've seen on social media.
It is the demo that I would say I would be shocked if it was over 30.
Yeah.
Would we all agree? Shocked over 30?
Unless you're pulling in Uptown Dallas, to be honest with you, that's going to be like 77%.
Yes. But Donald Trump got 37% of the vote to Kamala, 61, with just 18 to 29-year-old women. That's a 5-point slide toward Donald Trump. Don't underestimate. I know we don't have these numbers. The trucker vote, very important. You know, people who travel a lot for work. That's that podcast audience. That's the people who will tune in to 5-hour shows, whether it's Joe Rogan, whether it's this, and it's largely male. And you know what? You're going to say those people aren't educated? I have become Mr. Audiobook. I'm not going to lie about it. I used to read more. Now I find I can get way more in with audiobooks, listen to it, especially because I have books that are given to me to review. And most of my reading has to be news of the day. But there are people now where it's audiobooks, it's podcasts. That's why you're seeing everything fractured a little bit more. You're not seeing the same kind of megastars in music because people are learning passively.
I think when we looked at that young vote, that's a really important point is the podcast vote, because Trump was going out there and doing this new media. He was going on things like the Nelk
right
Boys.
ones.
He was going, like being endorsed by people like Bryce Hall, which we might not even know in this audience, but to people that are in college, that's a huge deal.
And Aiden Ross kid, Theo Vaughn.
Aiden Ross. And even like younger, like female influencers that are really popular were endorsing him, taking pictures with him. That should not be taken lightly.
It's funny how they used his age against him the whole time, and then she ended up relying on the dinosaur media versus he who went on
not
the
only
podcast.
that, the dinosaur campaign.
Yep.
Remember Nancy Pelosi was on CNN? I don't think we ran the clip, but she was like, and I always say, you must own the ground. Actually, not really. I'm sorry. I don't think that matters as much these days. Now, in certain areas like Scott Pressler, Pennsylvania. Yeah. Yep. But you know what matters more is people in general, because media is consumed so often and passively too, while you're cooking dinner, while you're in your truck. It matters how people perceive it on a national level with a national election. Yes, for state elections, for House, for Senate. Boots on the ground matters, canvassing. But I don't think that people changed their vote because there was a knock on their door. Kamala relied on that, where Donald Trump, people said he's outsourced that to Elon Musk. Okay, he went on Joe Rogan. J.D. Vance went on Joe Rogan. He went on Theo Vaughn. He brought in one of the most popular podcasters into his rally, and he was accused by legacy media saying, this could be the end of his campaign, Puerto Rico. Well, guess what? He won massively with Hispanic voters in a way that you could not expect. While he was going on, quote-unquote, new media. It's not new. It's been around for a decade and a half at this point. He was doing that. Kamala was relying on the lies from legacy media, and they just don't work anymore.
He mentioned security, he mentioned the border, and he mentioned the economy.
Yes. And according to exit polls, these are the most important issues, and Donald Trump dominated on them. On the border, people trust Donald Trump by a plus 9% margin. He wins by 9.
Should have been 109.
He's over by 6, right? Plus 6 on crime. Trump by 6. On handling the crisis that we're dealing with now. Trump by 6. Meanwhile, Kamala focused on, and the left said this would be our Achilles heel. Didn't turn out to be. It was really close. The question was, who do you trust better to handle abortion? Kamala 49 to Donald Trump 45. Think about that for a second. Think about the fact that this was the big issue you were told would determine this election, and women would come out in the. What are you doing?
I'm just playing this arcade game.
And what? Why are you wearing that?
Well, I'm gonna be wearing this all day. I'm actually mourning the loss of abortion. So.
Mourning the loss. Wait, aren't you from Kansas?
Yeah, I am.
Me too.
You know, abortion's still like legal up to 22 weeks.
What?
Till today.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep playing this game.
No.
Just get out.
Yeah, get out.
Just sleep.
Yeah, get out. Now, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's not chauvinism. We don't like you. So let me give you my hunch.
What was that?
This is the answer. For the same reason that the Handmaid's Tale outfit seemed so stupid for people going into the polls in 2024, it seemed kind of like, I get it in 2022. Here's the difference between 2022, the issue of abortion, and the issue of where we are in 2024. It was a vote out of fear and the unknown versus the known and the educated. What do I mean by that? In 2022, you had people actually voting on abortion in midterms because they believed that they wouldn't be able to get birth control. Remember that?
Yeah.
They thought, if I have a miscarriage, I won't get any health care. And I think what happened is we saw it go to the states, and people saw it. They go, well, okay, hold on. Wait. Where am? There's a heartbeat. What is it? Is it 8? Is 8 weeks? So I can have an abortion up until 8? Okay. And I'm still broke. And that mattered more to people. And that's why I say when you have it up as a measure on a ballot in your state, educate the public. Say, look, it has gone to the states, and we believe that this is a reasonable point. Can we agree that there needs to be a point? I've had these conversations with people. You can go to Change My Mind. You can go to Black and White and the Gray Issues, where I spoke with every single group of black people, with the exception of one person. I said, hey, you think there should be some limit? Yeah. How about a heartbeat? Yeah, I think so. I said, well, that's only a few weeks. They go, really? I guess I'll have to think about it. It's the difference in 2022 was the fear-mongering, was the unknown. People actually thought abortion would be federally banned. Then they experienced it and said, okay, but the other things matter more. That's why the left was still trying to tell you Donald Trump's going to have a national abortion ban.
Right.
That's what I think the big difference is. Hey, if you enjoyed watching this video, you probably enjoy watching the show. It's live, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you want that to continue, if you slap like or slap the comment button down there, I'll slap Gerald. Wait. If you don't slap it, I'll slap. Either way, I'm going to slap Gerald.